Hello, hello, my Starseed, my soul family. I'm so excited to come live today and talk to you about the topic that is so close to my heart. A topic that became close to my heart already some time ago when I remembered who I was, and that became even closer to me when I started stepping into my power more and more and understanding the challenges that I have been going through, and that other people like me, other starseeds who live and walk this earth are also experiencing. Because we didn't come here, neither of us came here, to struggle, to sacrifice ourselves, to live a life of misery, like in constant survival. On the contrary, we actually came to play, to have fun, and at the same time serve humanity. Because when we are in that state of play and fun, our energy, our beautiful energy is so vibrant. But unfortunately, it happens for many of us that we are not in that state. We are not in that beautiful state of flow, of being in our vibrant energy, and we are actually struggling. So today, this is the topic of this sacred conversation for me, because I know there are so many of us in the world. We are scattered around a little bit here and there, to be present in different corners of the world, to serve Mother Gaia in the most efficient, let's say, way. And we might feel alone, we might feel unsupported, and we might be wondering, what the heck did I come here? Right? So let's talk about that, guys. Let's talk about what kind of struggles, like what are the common struggles that starseeds usually experience, why we are experiencing them, and how can you shift that, of course, internally, so that you begin thriving in your life. And by thriving, I mean, like in different areas of your life where the struggles are initially present, and we will dive into that in a moment. Before we start this conversation, I will wait a little bit for everyone who wanted to join me to actually hop in. And for those of you who are already here with me, just let me know where you're joining from, whether you're new to my world or whether you have already been there for a while, because I know I have been, spreading my light more and more every day, and inviting more and more people to join my world. And I'm so happy about that, because that kind of reflects for me that an important chunk of work, of my own work, was done. I stopped hiding. I stopped sitting in the shadows. I stopped playing small, and I'm stepping forward further and further into being who I am, and that's why more people are coming into my world, right? So yeah, just let me know where you're joining from. For now, I do not see the comments here, but I guess it's just Facebook's usual thing. I see your hearts, I see your likes, guys. That's already progress. And yeah, before we begin, I wanted to actually light an incense for myself today. I decided that it felt like a good addition to this sacred talk. So I will light an incense for myself, which is called 7 chakras, to activate my beautiful channel, to activate all of my chakras, and assist me and you guys. So I will just light it up. Yep. So, and I see your comments are coming through finally. So Amanda Lee Thomas. Hey, I'm originally South African, living in the UK. Lyron started here. Awesome. Christina, Romania. Yes, I know you. Then there is Brittany, who's watching but no comment, I don't know. And there's Mary, who said, I am from Slovakia. Yes, and I know you too. And so happy to have you here, guys, to join this conversation, to join this important conversation, because I believe it can change a lot of things when we understand why we are going through certain things in life, and we understand that we actually hold the power to change them, because we always have. It's not like exclusive to Starseeds, of course. Every single being on Earth holds that power within to change their circumstances, to change how things are going in their life. And of course, we can do that too. And I'm so excited to share this with you. So I have Bray, who said, hi, I'm coming from New Orleans, USA. Awesome. I love that we are international. I love it so much. Yeah, so I will actually present myself because some of you don't know me, so it's only fair, right? So my name is Maria Katolikova. I am originally from Russia, but right now I am living in Europe, in Luxembourg. And although, like, through my journey, I transitioned through many different phases and the ways how I call myself or how I identify myself. But right now, I feel like my main sacred work is activating starseeds, awakening starseeds, and helping them step into their power and step into their mission that they came here to accomplish and begin thriving, like switch from that survival mode and finally begin thriving in any way that's possible for us in this human experience. Because as I mentioned from the very beginning, we came to play, we came to have fun, and there are so many opportunities on Earth to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of us are not doing that, and we are caught up in a struggle of in a cycle of struggle and survival. And I guess it's time to dive into that. No more delays, guys. So let's begin. How I'm going to structure today. We're just going to talk first of all about the main areas that I noticed for myself and for the starseeds with whom I already worked, and going to different channels, going to different places where people have discussions. So I noticed similarities between us and the things that we mostly struggle with the most, like among us starseeds. So we're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to tell you the main reason why it's actually happening. And then we will talk as well about what you can do to shift that for yourself. Okay? And those of you who actually joined me already for the Starseed Activation week, we're going to talk about that more in depth. Today it's more like a brief touch of these points, so that you are actually aware, what's going on for you in your world, and so that you can already take action, because we always can, right? So let's dive in, guys, without any further ado. So I found that the first and probably, the most distinctive probably trait, and at the same time a struggle for Starseed, is that we feel like foreigners on Earth, right? That Earth is not our home, and which is why we have this intense longing within ourselves to go home. And we don't necessarily know where home is, but we kind of feel instinctively within ourselves that, oh my God, I don't belong here, and I want to go home, right? This is the very first thing that would, for me, first of all, kind of point out that a person might be a starseed. Although, of course, it can happen for other people as well. It's not just exclusive, but it's very dominant for starseeds, like to feel that way. And by the way, while I'm talking, guys, if it resonates with you, feel free to drop any comments or a reaction or anything, like to say, yeah, I feel that too. Okay, so that we actually can have a more or less, a conversation here and not just me talking alone. It's always so fun for me when there's an exchange of energy happening. And obviously, guys, I can feel your energy anyway. Like that, you being present there in this conversation, it's already sacred and it's already so special. And I'm very excited about that. But yeah, just, keep it flowing. Okay? So that's number one, the biggest one. And yes, it leads to a lot of escapism, like escapism tendencies when we kind of don't want to be here. So we try by all means to try and escape it. Meaning, it can be in our mind, of course, like by traveling, like in our meditations, we go away somewhere and then we come back, being very dreamy, like we are very unfocused in our life, or we can use any sort of other distractions to feel like we're not here, meaning like gaming and all sorts of substances, like alcohol and whatever you want, right? So this is a very prominent thing, because we really feel like, yeah, I don't belong here. Okay, so that's number one. Yeah, I see some comments. Cool. And by the way, I want to acknowledge Ivan. I guess your name is pronounced like that. I want to acknowledge Ivan because he comments almost on every single of my posts with an emoji, but it's not enough, guys, to know that I'm seen and I'm listened. So thank you so much for doing that for such a long time. I don't even know how long you have been doing that, but I really appreciate that. Okay, so moving on. The second struggle that most people experience, most starseeds, is loneliness and misunderstanding, like being misunderstood. They feel a lot of disconnection from people. Like it's so hard to establish connection with people around them, because whenever we open our mouth, we feel like people don't know what we're talking about, and we feel we are either not listened or simply like misunderstood, and we are like met with this blank stare, you know, like, what the heck are you talking about? And even, you know, like even now in my own situation, like I live with my boyfriend and I know that he's a starseed, but he's not an awakened starseed yet. I know it, and I kind of told him because we discovered it together. I mean, I discovered that for him and I couldn't hold it within myself, so I told him, but he doesn't remember it yet. And so even he still like gives me like weird looks sometimes, you know, like I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but he listens, and that's the difference, you know, like he listens, he kind of takes his time to think. He doesn't tell me, are you crazy? Like, are you nuts? What are you talking about? Right? But for a lot of us, it's actually that experience that people don't only misunderstand us, they don't listen to us, not necessarily, but they actually call us crazy. And sometimes it can lead to very, like, you know, serious problems, meaning that we can be put in a mental institution. You know, I've seen this happening, and it's unfortunately quite a prominent thing for us starseeds. But that's the issue number 2. So the third one, kind of stemming from the second one, is that we're very afraid to show who we are. We, because we already came here like with the wound of abandonment, meaning we feel that we have been cut off from source, like because here on Earth that's what happens. We come and we are basically initially cut off from source, and then we kind of build up that connection for ourselves. So we feel already that abandonment, but at the same time, we feel very rejected by a lot of people around us. And that's why we kind of decide for ourselves, okay, if I cannot be myself and be accepted by everyone around me, then I will be someone else. I will hide my true nature. I will put myself in a little, you know, box that people can accept, that people can like, that people can, you know, interact with me, and I will put myself in that and play the game and hide who I am. And what it leads to eventually, you know, it's like it's very deep disconnection, because the more we play the game of being who we are not, the more we become that, you know, like that who we are not. Although, like, of course, our soul knows who we are, and it creates like a huge rift within us, like a huge inner conflict, like a war, right? And it doesn't feel good at all. So, and because of that, yes, we do that because we want to be accepted, we want to be part of the community, I guess. We don't want to be rejected, and we hide. We literally hide. And there's also some other things at play, such things as, for example, healer's wound or witch's wound, whatever way you resonate with the most. It's a wound that a lot of us carry, that if we show who we are going to be hurt. We are going to be, something bad is going to happen to us. We are, like, our truth and our nature, it's dangerous. Because back in time, you know, like when there were witch hunts and all of that, yeah, a lot of us were killed. And we still, because we, you know, this energy is still present within us. We have that remembrance. Maybe not necessarily like clear memory of what happened, but the energetic remembrance is still there. The fear is present. And that's why it's safer to not be who we are, right? To hide. So that's the third one. And obviously it leads to disconnection with people as well. It leads to disconnection with those who are like you, right? Like we try to connect with more people, but what it leads to is that those who we try to connect to us, anyway, not our people, but our people cannot see us because we pretend to be someone else. So it's like this, you know, vicious circle we basically create for ourselves. Let me read some comments, because I saw one comment. Okay, so from Christina. I used to feel that actually all my life until my son came into my life and my awakening started to speed up. Now I love being here, and as I discover why and how fun it can be. Yes, exactly, right? So that is one of the things to understand for us, that it's actually fun to be here. There are so many things to do here, right? But it's like an inner shift that needs to happen. But awesome, I'm very happy that you made that happen for yourself. Right? There's another comment from Amanda. I feel at home now that I'm living in my authentic self and from my heart center. Before my soul awakening, I was masking. I know it was not sitting well with my soul, and I was putting on a mask every day for many years, trying hard to fit in. Yes, definitely. I've known my inner truth for a year now, and it feels great. So much to discover. Awesome, awesome. So that's a very big step, right? Like, knowing the truth of who we are and actually begin living from it is really, really powerful. Okay? So congratulations to you too, that you already took that step further. So, let's move on. There are 3 more things I think that I wanted to discuss anymore. So the next one is that it's not inherent to starseeds, but because every single starseed I have met, I don't know, is empath. Like it's an empath thing, but because we are all empaths, we experience that. Is that we are feel very vulnerable to people's energy. Like we absorb energy very easily, right? And because of that, we can absorb. Because Earth is in a very turbulent state right now. Like a lot of people are in a state of, yes, there's like a big awakening happening, but at the same time there's a lot of fear. So we can absorb all these energies very easily and feel very overwhelmed. Feel that we kind of lose touch with our own energy when this happens, and feel too much of an external influence, and it becomes very heavy. It can influence us physically very easily. We can feel sick. We can feel heavy, demotivated, lack of energy to do anything in your life, right? So that's one of the biggest things. And usually, of course, it happens because there are no boundaries. Like we haven't learned yet how to master our energy and put proper boundaries so that it doesn't happen. And we don't stand fully in our power. That's why the boundaries are blurred in a sense. That's why energy can come through instead of like having this beautiful auric field around you that keeps at bay whatever has to be there. Our aura is like has a lot of holes and rips and everything that lets the energy that is not aligned with who we are actually come through. Okay, so that's another thingy that I wanted to mention. The next very common issue for starseeds is money, is financial situation, meaning that we just basically struggle financially. It can take different forms and shapes, but all in all, like whether you have a job or you're an entrepreneur, there is always a question of money, right? And for us starseeds, the main reason for that is that where we come from, like the memories that we carry, the life that we have lived before, most of us come from places where money doesn't exist, where this kind of construct has never been there, or we transcended it a long time ago and we don't need it anymore. So we do not relate to money. We do not really understand why we need money. Like when we just come here and we start thinking about it. Like I know for myself that when I was, before I became an entrepreneur, I literally didn't even think about money. Like I was having a salary from my job, and it was good enough. Like, it was on my account, and I didn't really think about it. I wasn't chasing like higher pay or anything. But the game changed when I became an entrepreneur, because that's where it felt the most. It starts being felt the most, because once you become an entrepreneur, you are your own boss, right? Nobody's paying you any salary. So whatever you create in your business is your income. And if you have a really weird relationship with money, that's when it comes out to the surface that you cannot make money. You struggle. There is something. You understand that you need money to not only pay your bills and whatever, but first of all, that you came here to play, right? And a lot of things do need money for that. Not necessarily everything in life, but sometimes you do need money as well. But most importantly, because you came here not only to do that, but to make an impact on people's lives. Having money helps tremendously with that, because money is just an amplifier, right? And it helps a lot to expand what we're here to do. When, especially if you are, for example, working like me online, and you can use social media to boost the reach of whatever you're talking about, right? Money can come very handy. So, but having a struggle with money limits our reach, limits our impact, limits all the good that we could potentially do in the world, and that we actually know within ourselves we can, right? There are other reasons why we struggle with money, and like one of them, what I already mentioned, actually, the healer's wound, we might be afraid that, basically it's all sort of human limiting programming about money as well, which stems from spiritual community that I noticed. Things like it can turn me into a bad person. If I ask money or want money, I'm a bad person. I'm greedy. That money is the root of all evil, or that money can corrupt you. This kind of stuff. So it's a lot of different implanted programming that gets in the way and limits our capacity to actually have an abundance in our life, a financial one, right? because although abundance, it's not just money, but money is still a big part of that, right? And that's one of the big things for Starseeds. So far, like, I have met Starseeds who were truly in their power, and they had a very successful business, but very few. I'm not saying I've met everyone in the world, of course, I'm not going to claim that, but why I've met many more Starseeds who struggle with money compared to those who don't. Because we need some inner shifts, to make some inner shifts before that relationship can be healed and it starts flowing, okay? So, and the last one I wanted to mention, before I forgot, because I wasn't sure I was going to mention that, is that a lot of Starseeds actually suffer with their health, like in terms of body. Like something is going on with their body and they have physical pains, and sometimes, very often actually, chronic diseases and allergies or autoimmune diseases, these kind of things. Very prominent for us. And also we struggle to feel kind of at home in our body. It feels foreign, it feels weird, it feels like unfamiliar, right? So these are the main issues. There are others that I'm not going to mention. They are less common. They can be present, but these are basically the main ones that I have seen so far, and some of them were mine too. So that's what I wanted to bring to your awareness, guys. And let me read the comment from Mary. Yeah, that's right. I feel what other people feel, and it's exhausting. And also, I'm struggling with money. Yep. So yes, you recognize yourself in the patterns, right? And as I said, yes, it's like, because we are here on my page is specifically for Starseeds nowadays. I turned the conversation towards Starseeds from the beginning of this year, almost entirely, almost exclusively, and I love diving into these topics and helping Starseeds resolve this, because again, it's not that we are like cut out from abundance and thriving and, having a fun, beautiful life, but it's a question of inner shifts. And that's what I want to talk about next. So why do we even experience that? Why are we experiencing all these issues? The main reason, like if I were to give you one answer and one only, is that we're simply disconnected from our power because we don't know who we are, or we don't own who we are. Like, there can be two. So which means you can know you're a Starseed, but like you're rejecting that it's actually true, or you don't know that you are one. And so a lot of things in your life don't really make sense, and you still try to make sense of them and fit in, right? So this is the main reason. But if we were to break it down, like there are several components, at least for me personally. The first one of them is that we are disconnected from our body. Like, we don't feel that our body is our home, that our body is this sacred vessel that we have to live in right now because of all the pain that comes with it. And for a lot of Starseeds come from places, first of all, where we didn't have physical body anymore, like we were pure energy, or like we were living in some other sort of form, mostly it's energy, or we had a body, but because we have mastered our body so much, we were never sick, we were never having any pain whatsoever. So being in that body and experiencing pains can be very overwhelming. And not only we feel our own pain, but as I mentioned, because we are empaths, right? We can also feel the weight of the world, like the pain of the world. And so at some point we just choose to disconnect. We just choose to say, it's too much. I don't want to feel that. And we disconnect from our body. And at the same time, there is a second disconnect that is present, like I put them together, because there's a disconnect from Mother Earth as well. Well, for the reason that we don't feel that it's home, right? So we disconnect from her as well, although she's our biggest source of, energy, inspiration, regeneration, anything you want, and connection. It's our biggest source. So this is like one of the reasons, this disconnect, body and Mother Earth. And of course, because of that, when we're not connected to our body, yes, we disconnect from pain, but at the other kind, like at the side of this sword, is that we disconnect from pleasure too, right? You cannot choose one. It doesn't work like this. It's always both, and I know that I did that for myself. I became aware that it's even a thing years ago when my mom just died. And because the pain of losing her was so excruciating when it just happened, I just decided I don't want to feel that. Very unconsciously. Now I'm talking about it as if I was aware, but back in time, it was very unconscious, and I just decided, okay, I am going to disconnect from feeling anything at all. And it's my boyfriend who made me aware of that, because at some point, like maybe 6 months into it, he was like, well, of course, he came from a very personal perspective, like an egotistic perspective, but it's okay. He just came up to me and said, like, do you even love me? Because I don't feel anything from you anymore. And I looked at him like in total shock, like, oh, why are you even asking me that question? Of course I love you. But he was like, but I don't feel anything. You don't show any emotions. You're like a robot, and nothing is going on, and I don't feel loved anymore. And that's when it became apparent that I did this disconnect. Because of that reason, because of the pain that I didn't want to feel. And I had to connect back. I had to allow myself to change my relationship with pain, to choose to actually feel the pain so that I can actually enjoy life too, and feel pleasure and feel joy and this juiciness that, is there. So that I became aware like already years ago. That was a long time ago. But for Starseeds, it's really common thing. Like really. Like right now I'm working with a group of Starseeds, and for many of them, it was a big shift. The second we connected back to the body, they were like, whoa, I've never felt like that. Because again, it entails so many things, like so many things come from that disconnect. Like one of them, for example, is healing. We cannot heal if we're disconnected. And that's another topic that I'm going to dive into in my next workshop that's going to happen next week about healing. But that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't heal, because they disconnect from their bodies. And the same for us, like we are disconnected, so we don't access the amazing capacities of a human body to actually regenerate itself, right? Among other things. Okay, so the second point here, the second reason why it's all happening, we, like, alongside rejecting our body, we are also rejecting our humanity. We kind of say things like, people are stupid, and I'm not, not people. Like we sometimes kind of, you can find yourself in that loop, that thinking that you're a bit smarter and better or whatever, which is not true. It's still talking from a very disempowered part of yourself when we take that stance. But when we see humanity like doing certain things and acting a certain way, it's easy to say, oh yeah, people are stupid, why they're doing this, why they don't see it, I'm not them. So we're rejecting our human part by doing that. By basically creating that rift. There's them and there's me, right? And by doing that, again, we deprive ourselves from all the experiences that being a human means, with which comes actually like emotions and like capacity to think and everything, right? To control your mind, like among other things. And it also, like when we do that, this disconnect from humanity, we disconnect from humanity, like in general, from our personal humanity, like being human, but also from humanity as a consciousness, like from collective human consciousness, right? Which means that if we have a mission to accomplish, and we all have, and it's very unique and it's very special, we cannot accomplish it from that space. It becomes impossible. Like when we are truly disconnected from humanity, whatever we want to bring here is not going to land. It's not going to be listened, it's not going to be heard, we're going to be very frustrated, and a lot of things will come with that. Okay? So that's the second reason, the disconnection from humanity. And the third reason is the disconnection from our galactic side, from our galactic origins, right? Because I know that for many Starseeds, what happens, like my knowing of who I am came from within. Nobody told me I was one. It came from within, first like in ayahuasca ceremony, and then further in meditations, like more and more was coming, and like more and more information. But for a lot of us, it comes from outside. Somebody tells us, like we go for a reading or whatever, and we don't necessarily believe that. And I mean, even if it comes from within, it can still happen that we say, oh well, that's not true. I'm inventing that. It's just my imagination. I just want to feel, I don't know what, more special or whatever, right? So we reject our galactic heritage right away. And of course, with that, we cannot use any of our gifts that come with being a galactic being, that come with being a starseed. And of course, within you probably have several different energies. Like in my case, I don't have only one. My dominant energy is from Onyx, but I also have some from Sirius. Arcturus is the second one actually for me. Arcturus is the second prominent one. Then Sirius, and a bit of Lyran. And I know that I lived on Pleiades at some point, but not like as a Pleiadian. So we all have different galactic energies within, and with every single race comes a specific gift that you carry, you know. But when you disconnect from that part of yourself, obviously your gifts are being disconnected with that part as well. And it works in the same way for like when we are human, and when we try to find our gifts, like if there are parts of us that we reject or don't like or dishonor or disown, whatever you want, we disconnect from the gifts as well. So it's more or less the same process. But yes, that we do very often as Starseeds, because of course the concept of Starseeds, first of all, for many people, it's something like not serious, you know, like it's something invented, it's not true. And we see that like so often, then we might convince ourselves, yeah, maybe it's not true, maybe I'm just inventing that, right? So which means there is no self-trust within as well. Like there are a lot of things that come into play why it happens, but anyway. So here we go, these are the three main reasons. So disconnect from our humanity, disconnect from our body, and disconnect from our galactic heritage. Like these three things coming together make it that we don't know who we are anymore, or we don't own who we are anymore, meaning we don't live from our power. And it's when we live from our power that we can create whatever we want, that we can thrive, actually, right? There is no other way around that. Like, and if you have ever read, I mean, any spiritual books, any self-empowerment books, it always starts with the first thing: know who you are and own who you are, right? Because from that space, you have all your power within that you can use. But when we start rejecting and, like, you know, picking what we want and what we don't want in who we are, and hiding and playing a game and wearing masks and all that stuff, yes, we are totally disconnected from the infinite source of power that we have within, right? We totally forget. And that's why we struggle. So the remedy for that, how can you start? How can you change that situation for yourself if you have been struggling? By the way, yes, I will check the comments first before we go further. So Mary, that I'm Starseed for sure than too, because I have disease also. Well, you know, there are a lot of different things, and you can go into YouTube, and I had I know you already watched I think I don't know, actually, I don't want to assume. I don't know if you watched the Soul Illuminations. It's a 3-day program that I have, like it's a free event that I hosted. I talk there a lot about how to understand whether you're a Starseed or not, but I do have a short video on YouTube with I think 7 signs that you might be a Starseed. So you can watch there and like see if you resonate with that or not. But all in all, you know, it's knowing that comes from within. You might not know exactly which one, but you know that you are one, right? That's what matters. And of course, like the more you start owning that fact that you're one, the more will come. Like the more memories, the more gifts will come through. For me, that's how it happened. Like I didn't have everything I have right now from the very beginning, including, you know, like one of the biggest gifts that was revealed to me is my voice. That my voice contains a vibration that can help people heal. It has like these activating qualities. I can bring people to other dimensions with ease, you know, like just simply by talking, like, or creating these guided journeys that I create now. That's my way of doing that. And also chanting. Like I receive incantations in light language, and I also started receiving some songs. And I wanted to share one with you today, probably at the end of our discussion. A new song that came through maybe a month ago or something. I don't have music for it. I have just singing. But yes, that's one of my gifts that came through once I remembered. But there were others that started coming with time, you know, and they will come for you in the same way. The more you start owning who you are and remembering, and like it will bubble up to the surface, like it's inevitable. Let me check further comments because they kind of disappeared from my screen. I have oh my god, what's going on here? It's jumping. Okay, I have Bray who said it disappeared again. It really resonated with me how you said you unconsciously disconnected from your it was mom my mom's death. After my dad's death, looking back, actually, wow, I think I did all those years ago. Actually, I couldn't even cry physically for years. Yeah, it can be that you did that, you know. For me, that I guess my human decided that that's the only solution, because it was too painful. It was too excruciating. It was like, oh my god, I cannot bear the pain. It was such a hole in my heart that I could not live with that. So I did that. It's very possible you did the same thing. So we have Candice Lamb who commented Arcturus. We are sisters. Yes, awesome. Happy to hear that. So Amanda, yes, I do have an internal knowing. I have galactic energy from Pleiades. And I also have a knowing that my soul will return to Sirius. Again, internally, information I receive. And Mintaka, this is because of my children's energy I feel of them. Okay. So yeah, you are kind of familiar with certain things within yourself. Just, nurture that knowing. Don't reject that. That's an important part. So Mary said, yeah, it's in my to-do list because I today finished soul healing on YouTube. Okay, then we'll be soul elimination next. But actually you don't need it anymore, Mary, because you already joined Awaken and Rise, and everything will be covered in there already. So yeah, don't disperse yourself too much. Just dive into Awaken and Rise, and have fun. I think you joined, right? I'm assuming again. I think you did. Oh my god, I just forgot already so many things. But yeah, if you didn't join, then yes, then do it. But if you are already a member of that, then don't. It's just will be repeating more or less. Okay, so what I wanted to say, how do you remedy? Now, yes, that's what I thought. So how do you remedy the whole shebang, the whole situation, right? The answer is simple, but not easy, right? The answer is that you need to accept both of your humanity, and galactic origins, and integrate them together to basically benefit from everything that they both can give you, and they can give you a lot. So there are a lot of things that come into play here, and basically it's the opposite of what you're experiencing. If you disconnect from your body, so obviously you need to connect. You need to connect to Mother Earth. You need to learn how to master your energy. You need to heal the healer's wound. There's also another one, which is on the other side of it, and the perpetrator's wound. There are a lot of different things that needs to happen for that shift to, for you to start remembering who you are and owning, right? And of course, if you don't remember who you are, that would be the very first step, right? If you have only, let's say there are different things, like knowing who you are but not wanting to accept that is not the same as not knowing who you are at all, right? So there are different things that might need to happen for you if you don't know who you are. So you need to remember first. And usually it involves healing certain things about yourself. And of course, the very first one would probably be self-love and self-acceptance, things like knowing your self-worth, like disconnecting from a lot of collective programming that comes with being on Earth, and being in that system that we live. So a lot of things come into play for that, to remember who you are. But if you do remember and you just simply reject, yes, that's just simply it's the work of more acceptance rather than anything else, and then integration together, right? And a lot of things come into play, as I said. And for that, I have a full guidance. For my STAR team that I'm already leading right now, we have a little team inside the program that is called Thriving Starseed, where we're working on these kind of things. We are working on reintegrating and creating for ourselves that empowered state from which we can take action. So basically, Thriving Starseed is a community that I created in May, I think, or end of April. End of April, yes, so it's been already several months. And it's a community where we come together in a safe space, in a safe environment, Starseeds, to work on ourselves, to feel safe to actually express ourselves in a way that we might not necessarily feel safe to do it in the world, so that we can build that muscle. We work on healing a lot of different wounds, to come into our power in the first place, right? And from that space of power, we begin building up further. So we begin creating, if you don't have a business yet, we start thinking about how do we want to serve the earth, right? And usually, for me personally, the best way to do that is through creating a business, because it really will be personalized, and tailor-made to your own beautiful gifts that might not necessarily fit in any conventional job out there, right? So, and you can do it in whatever way you want. For me, a business is like a way to allow the fullest self-expression of yourself. So we work on that, on figuring out what we want to do. We work on our relationship with money, of course. We work on mastering our energy. We work on, we haven't done it yet, but we will work on, relationships with people, and how to be understood, and what to do when we're not understood, and a lot of different inner shifts that allow us to connect back to who we are, to our power, and from that space begin thriving, begin playing with life. like we did already a big chunk of work in reconnecting with our body, and reconnecting with Mother Earth, in you know, healing, as I said, healer's wound, perpetrator wound, because that's the other one that we actually carry. That is the opposite. Like if the healer wound is when we feel that we can be hurt if we are showing up as we are, the perpetrator wound is the opposite. We actually we are afraid to use our power because we think that we might hurt others, right? So, but that again, it limits your power. It means like you dim your light, right? There are a lot of different things we have already built because for me that they are kind of foundational on which we can start creating further. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys, like an open invitation. If what we talked about today spoke to you, that's an open invitation to come and join this community. It's very supportive. We exchange a lot of things. It's inside a Facebook group, like a small Facebook group where we meet more or less once per week. Sometimes it's a bit rarer, but so far we met almost like every week. Yeah, to have different kind of healing sessions, activations, mentorship. We have Q&A as well. Like you can ask whatever questions you need. You can get personalized support, not just group support. So anything that you need for yourself. So that's my invitation for you guys, if that speaks to you. But to come back to what we talked about. So what are you taking out of that for yourself? Let me just check the comments. So I have Christina who said, one gift I have is energy healing with my hands. All my life I have done this without knowing that I was doing it. Yes, it felt so natural. Then when I grew up, it seemed so childish and simple, and I stopped it. Now I am relearning it. Yes, you need to own it back, right? Sometimes, of course, whatever society, like, it all comes from society, like, you know, from reflections from people, right? We start seeing things a certain way because we hear and see things in the world, right? And we decide, oh, that's silly, that's stupid, that's unacceptable. And yes, it's our job to understand that whatever is you, it's all acceptable. Whatever parts you have, they're all part of you for a reason, and they have their place. And it's so important to accept all of you fully, because that's where all your power lies. That's an important piece of work. Okay, so yeah, I was going to say, so what are you taking out for yourself from that conversation today? Is it clear for you now? What do you need to do? What kind of work is required for you to do? Like where do you feel? Where do you feel that, yes, I did that for myself and I need to connect myself back? Let me know. I still have a song to share with you guys. So, but I'm curious to hear your feedback and your ideas. So, by the way, I will drop the link to the Thriving Starseed later, because right now I'm on my phone and I don't know how to do that. I usually do it in front of my computer, but I'm not there yet. So I will drop the link further for you to check if you want. And it's an open invitation. It's always, it's program that's open, and you can join at any moment. And of course, you'll have access to whatever you already did before, almost 2 months, like 2 months of content actually. And yes, you can join us live for whatever we're doing now. And next week we are going to talk about money. So the first conversation about money actually, and how to, we're going to talk about the, making yourself a match actually to wealth. How to make yourself a match to wealth. That's an important topic. And we are going to create a version, like connect to the version of every single one of them, us, that's already abundant and already has everything, you know, that she needs. So that's the work for the next week. So if it speaks to you as well, yeah, that's just for you to know. So I don't see any comments from you guys anymore. So I guess you're just digesting the information. Then I will share with you my new song. Well, I already shared it with my community, almost at the very beginning of our journey, and I'll share it with you now. So usually when I sing my songs, I ask people to close their eyes and to imagine that you can connect with my energy through your heart, that you are receiving this music and you're hearing it through your ears, but it comes into your heart. Okay, so just I invite you to do that for yourself. I'm here. Okay. And just, if you want to say it out loud or just within yourself, just tell yourself, I receive. You are powerful. You are powerful. You came to bring more light on earth. You came to show the way of rebirth. You came to plant the seeds of love so everyone can smile and laugh. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. Your human vessel is your shrine. Your human nature is divine. Your fire can set the heart ablaze. But your journey here is a maze. So ask your soul to show you the way, and trust you know the steps to take, because stardust runs through your veins and ancient magic shines through your gaze. Because stardust runs through your veins and ancient magic shines through your gaze. Thank you. Thank you for receiving that. It was a pleasure to share it with you guys from the bottom of my heart. Not just, of course, this conversation, but the song as well. Losing my voice. I'm check. Actually, there are comments from Christina. I thank you for all the information you provide. Personally, I'm still learning to use my power. I'm learning to accept my humanity and all these emotions. Yes, it's totally a journey. Thank you for being here and actually, actively listening and making mental notes for yourself. Yeah, it's a journey. It takes time. For me, it didn't happen in one day, and I believe I'm still on that journey. Of stepping more and more into this space of power, into this space of ownership of who I am. And for me, it's an exciting time to support others on the same journey, because I can already share what I have learned. But my amazing clients teach me so much too and give me so much inspiration for, they ask me questions that give so much insight to me, because I can ask them from my higher self and then share what comes. Things I might not necessarily think about on my own, but then they propel us all forward. So it's always a beautiful exchange for me. So I'm very, very grateful for everyone who is in my world right now, and that we have this community, because for me it's really priceless. Yeah, by the way, I didn't mention how much it costs actually. So it's a monthly membership in which you can stay minimum 2 months, but then you can decide whether you want to go or stay longer than that. And normally a monthly commitment is $144. But if you join Starseed Activation Week, that's going to happen. The next round is actually going to happen at the end of July. I have not announced it yet, but I kind of promoted it here and there, but I haven't announced it officially yet. But if you join that space, there will be a special offer in there that I will reveal later, which is more beneficial, of course, right? So that's what it costs. So €144 per month, 2 months minimum, and then I am sure you will fall in love with our little team, because they're such amazing beings, and it's always such an uplifting space to be there and to connect with those guys. And we are quite widespread in terms of age, how I have people who are quite old there, actually, like 60 and 70, I think. But I also have people my age, so it's very diverse, and I'm so excited about that it's the case, and we can share our perspectives, and I encourage that actually so much, to share our perspectives. If somebody asks a question, and you wanna tell something, you know, like you share. You don't. I'm not the I am the teacher there, like I'm the mentor, but for me it's a co-creative space, and I encourage that a lot. So that's how it is inside our little community. I have more comments, I think. Christina said, every cell in my body is responding to your song. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so happy to hear that. I know that we are attuned, you know, in energy with you, because you already told me that before with the other incantations I shared and things like that. So thank you. I so love you singing. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Bray said. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. I felt it deeply. Yes, it's an honor for me. Paul said, thank you for the information. So beautiful. And your singing too. Thank you. Hello, Daniel. We are already wrapping up, actually. Yes, we are already wrapping up. We have been here for like almost an hour, I would say. Yeah, almost an hour now. So, yeah, you could maybe hop in once the replay is loaded. Like once we are done with the live, you can watch a replay. For sure, it will be on my page. And I will also share it in my group, actually. For those of you who maybe missed or whatever, I'll share it in my Starseed, how's it called? Soul Aligned tribe, actually. I'm so confused now. I have so many groups. Yeah, I'll share that as well, so that people can watch there as well. So if you don't have any questions for me, guys, then I will leave you with that. I hope you found that conversation enlightening for yourself. I hope it gave you more clarity about what work needs to happen for you, what kind of inner shifts are still necessary, so that your journey becomes fun, so that your journey becomes an adventure and not a daily struggle for survival, because living like that is not fun. Right, and it can be heavy, and my journey has been like up and down in many different ways, but now it's coming to be more and more stable, like, you know, waves diminished. Like I always see our adventure, it can be like an ocean. An ocean can be either like have big waves and like a stormy one, right, and it's like not fun to when you're swimming in it, or it can be quite peaceful with like very gentle waves. And I believe that for me, it's how it happened. Like it was a very stormy ocean at the very beginning of my journey, and now it comes more and more like to this peaceful, calm place, in which I'm enjoying very much. And but at the same time, when there is peace and, you know, like a feeling of safety that we create from within, it's so much easier to create something beautiful, rather than when we are in a constant state of fear. You know, like fear is low vibration. And creating anything from fear is much, much harder from a space of neutrality and safety. So that's how it feels for me. And that's why if you resonate with my message, with what I'm talking about, and you would like to join me inside the Thriving Starseed, you're more than welcome to do that. You can also join me inside the Starseed Activation week and kind of get a taste of what we are doing inside the Thriving Starseed. Because we're not going to do the same things, but yes, you can like understand what I'm talking about when I tell that we are doing guided journeys and activations and these kind of things, and you can see if that resonates with you. Mary said, which video I have to watch to find out what kind of Starseed I am? I can't remember. You can go on YouTube if you want. You will not find what kind of Starseed you are. It's not like that. It's just a video that can give you an indication whether you're a Starseed or not. For me, what kind, it will come with time that you do the work inside the Awaken and Rise, you know, because this awareness will come from within. I know that there are people who say, like, yeah, you can just go and read descriptions of Starseeds and see what you resonate with the most. I mean, it can be useful if you want to do that, you know, just to go and read. But for me personally, I never done that, never. All the awareness, everything, all the information came absolutely from within. After I healed myself, like whatever steps I'm guiding you inside the Awaken and Rise, it's the same steps I took for myself. I just afterwards kind of put it out into the world because I kind of understood that's how we awaken. That's how we understand who we are. That's how this remembering comes through, right? So just follow the steps. Be patient. It will come with time. And of course, leave yourself time to integrate. Don't do it too fast. I gave the guidance inside the group that it's like once per week, leave yourself at least 1 week between the sessions for the integration to happen, okay? And if you do feel the need to redo some journeys, because you know, like you instinctively know where you need more work, rather than like some areas you might have already mastered, right? So yeah, you can do that also several times in the same week, okay? But just like tune into yourself. It's a very powerful work, and you will, like, the remembrance will come. Okay, wrong for me. But that video is on YouTube. On YouTube, I think it's called 7 Signs That You're a Starseed. Something like that. Do you have access to my... Yes, you do. On YouTube channel. Yeah, it's like if you just go into the videos, like if you click on videos, it will be somewhere there. It's not very far away from beginning, you know, from the top, I mean. But if you don't find, just let me know. You know, you can send me a message and I will just send it to you. If it's easier, I can do that too. No problem. Okay, so I guess that's it. We are done with the questions, I guess, guys. Okay, you're welcome. Yes. So thank you for being here with me today and spending that time listening to what I have to say on this beautiful Friday. So I wish you all amazing self-discoveries. Know that whatever work you do for yourself, whatever inner work you do, like the more you do it, the more it pays off with time. You know, it's never lost. It's never for nothing, because it allows you to step into your power more and more and more, and be more and more in control of what you're creating inside, outside in your reality, you know, because our reality is always a reflection of our inner world. There's no way around it. So if you want to create a beautiful outer reality for yourself, your inner world has to be as beautiful, right? And that's why a lot of healing is necessary for some of us, like for some of us more than for others, right? It depends on the journey that you've had so far. But that's an important thing to remember. The more you do the inner work, the more you connect to yourself, the more you can create a beautiful life. And I wish to all of you just that for yourself. Just begin thriving. Stop struggling, because you're not here for that. You're here to play. And I hope you will begin doing that soon. And of course, serve humanity at the same time. They come together, not separately, okay? So Christina, I think every person has a different experience with remembering what Starseed we are. For me, it came first from a random article online after 10 years. I listened to a message on YouTube from Pleiadians, and it was so profound for me. And after that, I started to receive messages on my meditations and dreams. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I'm not saying that it only comes, you know, like in one way. No, there are different ways. Just for me, what I mean is when it comes from within, it's the most powerful knowing, because it requires less reconciliation, you know, like with your mind, in a sense. That's how I felt. Because for many, why we kind of struggle to accept who we are, because if we receive it externally and we don't have any remembrance of whatsoever from within, that's where the bargaining begins. You know, like maybe it's not true, maybe I'm inventing that, and right? So, but ways to get there, of course, they're all different. But I found for myself that the more we heal and connect to our soul, because the soul is always there, and the soul carries all the knowing, the more will be revealed. You know, it's just as easy as that. When we're disconnected from who we are, we will not remember. It's just impossible. But that's my personal experience. So, Bray, thank you a billion, Maria. It was a pleasure. You're welcome. And I know that you're new to my world, so I was happy to see you here. And yeah, we'll hope to connect with you all, guys, in the future, in my posts. If you're a member of my group, then in the group, feel free to join, by the way, if you're not a member. I have a link in my profile. If you go into my profile, there's a link somewhere there you can find. So yeah, I would be very happy to connect with you guys deeper. Yes, and that's all I wanted to extend to you. So again, I will drop the links both to the Starseed Activation Week and to the Thriving Starseed right now. Whatever resonates with you, feel free to ask me any questions if you feel like, and I will be happy to see you guys. So thank you for being here with me. I wish you an amazing weekend, and I see you soon. Bye.